Nigeria's Supreme Court today gave a judgment that states collecting allocation of local government is illegal. What is the implication of this? What does this mean? How will this help the relationship or make the relationship between the presidency and the state governors? How will it make it frosty? Now, this is another episode of Today with Deji on Politik with Omoshola Deji. I am a political scientist and a public affairs analyst. Now, if you are watching me right now, stay tuned and make sure you watch this to the end. Like I always say, social media is also about learning. It is not just about watching skits and comedy. No. Also try and watch something about politics, governance, analysis of happening in the polity that's going to benefit you and those around you. So stay tuned while we dive deep into the topic. But before we go deep into this analysis, if you are yet to like this page, please try and like. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section. I will definitely address these questions. So, and make sure that you invite your friends to like this page. It's always a place of fun, and like I always say, we are here to learn from each other. I learn from you, you learn from me. So now back to the topic. Local government allocation. Nigeria has over 700 local governments. But you know what? These local governments don't get their allocation. What do I mean by that? They know they receive their money by themselves. How do they get their money? There's something called joint account, whereby it is the states that will receive the funds of the local government on their behalf. But there's been a lot of corruption, there's been a lot of cheating in this public funds issue. So that's why the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu approached the Supreme Court of Nigeria for an order stating that the funds of local government, their allocation should be paid directly into their account. You may want to ask that, why didn't the government just go ahead and pay the funds into the local government account? At least it's just common sense that you state have gotten yours. Why should you receive funds on behalf of the local government in this modern age and time where there is bank? So on what basis will you be receiving funds? It's just like you and I are entitled to a fund. You have received yours and you are now claiming you want to receive mine on my behalf. The question is, why will you receive my fund on my behalf? Is it that I don't have an account? Is it that I'm not able to receive my own fund? But the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu decide to go to court just so that it's going to have a legal backing. In other words, they would say we are obeying the judgment of court. We are obeying court judgment. And if they say they are obeying court judgment, well, is there anything anybody can do about it anyway? Except you go back to the court to seek redress in court if you are not satisfied. And the problem is, now the judgment has come from the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. And by the popular saying, once the Supreme Court gives a judgment, if you are not satisfied with it, you can only appeal to God Almighty. Their judgment is the last bus stop, and that's why it is called supreme. Supreme, if you want to use a synonym for it, you can say highest, you can say topmost. So the highest court in the land has spoken, and the judgment of the court is binding on everyone, and it is a law. So now, from the next allocation, that means that the Tinubu government can decide that allocations will now be going directly into the account of the, I think, 774 local governments in Nigeria. What is the implication of this? Is this going to curb corruption? How does this sound? what will be the implication of this on the relationship between the presidency and the states? Those are the aspects that we're going to dive in. And that's why I said, if you have watched this video to this stage, stay tuned. Make sure you watch it to the end. At least you've learned something. Like I say again, your data is not just to watch, booty comedy skits and, and all that on social media. It is also for learning. The Supreme Court of Nigeria, when they heard this case, they said it is illegal. So that means the states have been collecting these funds illegally for years. How did this start anyway? I believe that when Nigeria returned to democratic government in 1999, I believe somebody like former President Olusegun Obasanjo and even his successor Yaradua Jonathan Buhari shouldn't have allowed this, because in a federal system, as we claim to practice, you cannot hold somebody's fund. It's like you are handicapping them, and that has serious consequence on development itself. But you may want to ask yourself that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took this step. Why is he going against something that he himself enjoyed? Because withholding the funds of the local government is a way of handicapping them. And the governors are very powerful. They have so much enormous powers. Because if you hold the fund of an agency or even a human being, how do you expect the human being to function? So it's like the remote control of that human being is in your hands. So why would the presidency of Obasanjo, Yaradua Jonathan Buhari, allow this to fester before the Tinubu government decide to take the bull by the horn? Why? I think it's a good question that we need to ask ourselves. The answer is simple. The implications of going against governors in Nigeria is very grievous. Governors are a very powerful set of human beings in Nigeria. So the past presidents do not want to do anything that will make them be in the bad book of the governors. The past presidents, again, do not want to do anything that will make them be in the bad book of the governors. Because when it comes to election, your main foot soldiers as a president, an incumbent president seeking re-election, is the governors. That's your first line of defense. Those are the people that will unleash their political hallelujah boys. Those are the people that will unleash their political arsenals and machinery. So you don't want to joke with your first line of defense. That's why past presidents are being careful not to go against the wish of these governors. They have been very careful. Because if you want to gain a party ticket, if the governors in coalition stand against your aspiration, trust me, you are not going anywhere. Now, let us examine the powers of the governors further. When the Buhari administration was rounding up, and there is this clamor that power should remain in the north, what was the game changer? Now we are looking at the powers of the governors. What is the game changer? The game changer at that point in time is the governors came out unanimously to say no, power should return to the south. And this was mainly done by the northern governors themselves. That for the unity of Nigeria, power should return to the south. Eventually, power returned to the south. Because why? The governors control the delegates from their states. Especially if you belong to the ruling party of the president. The delegate is expected to be, your men and women. It's expected to be your loyalists. It's expected to be your political foot soldiers. So by implication, whatever you tell them to do, they just go and do it. So if you tell them that in this primary, go and vote for Tinubu, don't vote for Rotimi Amechi, they will just go right to the ballot and vote for Tinubu. Why? Because you, their political master, have spoken. Now let's stretch it further a little bit. You may want to ask yourself that why is it that the governors control them? The thing is, sometimes when they vote in these party primaries, the ballot papers are serial numbered. And they can easily go back and trace, based on the serial number, who go against the dictates of his or her governor. So that's why the delegates, whether they like it or not, they just obey the command of the governors in presidential primaries. So other presidents are always kind of scared that, no, I won't take this action because I don't want to be in the bad books of these guys. Another question you need to ask yourself is, what if you are a second-term president? If you are a second-term president, then you can easily implement this policy. Obasanjo in his second term, why did he fail to implement it? Why did Buhari in his second term, don't forget Yar'Adua died in office, Jonathan never got a second term. Why did Buhari fail in his second term? The reason is because to implement this policy of local government having allocation directly paid to them, the reason is simple. It's because the occupiers of presidential offices usually want to anoint a successor. What do I mean by that? If you are a president in Nigeria and you are doing your second term in office, in the innermost part of your mind, you know who you want to succeed you. The presidents, former presidents, are not supermen. Just like we have it in the states, that we have governors that try to put their loyalists in office after leaving office, just like recently Yaya Bello, whereby he installed Ododo. Also the case of the River State, whereby Nyesom Wike installed Fubara. Even in Lagos State, the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been installing governors successively since he left the office in 2007. So if you are a president and you are seeking second term, you won't want to be in the bad books of the governors. And if you are doing your second and last term, because you can only occupy the office twice. If you are doing your second and last term, you also don't want to be in the bad books of the governors because you want to install a successor. Buhari may have failed in that regard, but I think people in the kitchen cabinet of Buhari knows who Buhari wants. And don't forget that at the die minute, the APC chairman at the time declared the then Senate President Ahmed Lawan as the choice candidate. But because Bola Ahmed Tinubu has strong political structure, he is a formidable guy, he is well grounded, he is a political juggernaut, they weren't able to upturn his political structure. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not just start contesting the election on the eve of the election. No, he has started contesting the election even before Buhari became president. What do I mean by that? You will see that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a very calculative guy. He waited for his time and his strike kicked the ball and it went straight into the net. He's a political strategist because he gave Buhari the opportunity against Jonathan, say you are a northerner, go and become president, and he supported him with all the resources that he has in his possession. After supporting Buhari, Buhari did not give him the free hand that Bola Tinubu would naturally like, except bearing the nomenclature of national leader of the party, which is just, an honorary title, which is not even in the constitution of the party. The second time, Buhari came again and said, oh, I want to go for second time. What did Bola Tinubu do? He still supported him. That is him contesting the election before the election himself. Before the election itself. So it is because Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to establish a solid relationship with political stakeholders across board. So when Buhari came up with the Ahmed Lawan choice of candidate, it was already too late. But now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken the bold step, which will reduce the powers of the governors. Why would he have done that? Because I'm sure most governors now are very displeased. Why is he not afraid that the governors can move against him? Why? That's another question that we need to ask ourselves. That why is Bola Ahmed Tinubu not afraid of the governors? The truth is, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man of power. He likes power. He's a power-oriented politician. Give him power, he wants more power. Give him power, he wants more power. And he has seen that this governor have enormous power. So one of the best, game that he can play is to find a way of reducing their powers. Don't forget that Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows how to take political risk. He's a political risk taker. People were afraid that, oh, Muslim ticket won't fly. He took the risk. So he may as well be taking that risk again. But why would a Tinubu go against the governors for something that he enjoyed? Why? At least there should be some brotherhood spirit. That, oh, you have enjoyed this thing. You are a former governor. During your time, you are controlling the allocation. So why is it that now you want to stop us? Why is the spirit of being your brother's keeper not applying? Why do you want to deny we, the current governors, of what you enjoyed, despite the fact that we seem to be loyal to you? We seem to be worshiping you. Well, some strategic states, the powers of the governor needs to be whittled down in some strategic states. For example, Rivers State. Rivers State is naturally a PDP state. We can safely assert that Wike is claiming to be a member of PDP, but we can safely assert that, he would, let me put it kindly, eventually be a member of the APC. So the influence of people like Fubara needs to be whittled down. Now that the president has taken that action without minding the implication on the governors, that means the political landscape in Nigeria and 2027 is going to be very, very interesting. Again, I repeat, 2027 is going to be very, very interesting. As Bola Ahmed Tinubu taking a step that will eventually make him to be a one-term president. The days ahead will unfold this. But are the governors happy? Certainly no. they are not happy. Why will Bola Ahmed Tinubu take this decision to go against something that he himself has enjoyed? Can we say that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is now politically matured? Come to think of it, let's say you occupy a position, you are enjoying something, even if it's illegal, and then you are now in position of authority and you decide to change it to something right. You decide to go away from the illegality, the furtherance of the illegality you yourself have benefited from. Can we say that maturity has set in on the part of Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Is he more politically matured? Well, the days ahead will answer that. Because if he is politically matured than before, then we should see him take steps that will further entrench true federalism in Nigeria. Because Nigeria is indirectly practicing a unitary system whereby power is concentrated at the central. So you have whittled down the powers of the governors by depriving them the power of sharing the local government funds as they like. Okay, if you are now politically matured, can you please do that to yourself as well? Can you do that to yourself? Can you shed some powers off your sleeves by allowing the states to control their resources, by making sure that true federalism truly exists in Nigeria? I think that would be a nice place to start from for the president. If he now says, okay, I have whittled down your powers, now I want to whittle down my own powers. Recall that I said earlier that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a power-oriented politician. And one of the ways that we can test that he truly meant well, he truly wants to entrench federalism such that each component of government will be able to operate to their maximum capacity, starts by implementing the idea of state police. Don't forget that Bola Tinubu spent most of his political life as an opposition figure. So, is it that when he was the leader of the opposition, because he didn't have the military power, the police power, the force power, was that why he was a major advocate of state police? Because when he got into office, he took some steps by declaring his support for state police. But that matter has, seemed to be dying a natural death. Why is he not gaining momentum when he himself is the champion of state police? If he can swiftly implement the return of Nigeria national anthem to the old one, that has proven that he's a powerful president that have the legislature unfortunately under his control. So why didn't he use that speed to influence the Senate and House of Reps to pass the bill of state police? Because every governor wants to be the commander-in-chief of a particular force, whether for right purpose, for justice, or for wrong purpose. Because governors in Nigeria don't have that power. If you give command to a state commissioner of police, and the commissioner of police phone the IG, if the IG give a contrary order, then no bond that commissioner where may he disobey the IG. I'll give you an instance. The case of Kano, the Kano state government said the commissioner of police should go and should eject Ado Bayero, the deposed emir, from the palace. But because Ado Bayero apparently belonged to the Ganduje camp, which is apparently the Tinubu camp, and they are in control of the police, that order was not carried out. If the reverse were to be the case, that order would have been carried out. So if Kano State have his own state police, it will be fire for fire. The Kano state governor will just order his own commissioner of police that go and eject the deposed emir from the second palace, and it will be carried out. Because the federal police will be carrying arms, the state police will be carrying arms, and there will be outcry that you are a federal police. Emirship, kingship, obaship is a state local government affair. So the federal police cannot come and dictate to the state government how it will run its own affairs. But because the governor don't have such powers, the order of the governor was not carried out. So every governor wants to be in command of a standby force. Like I said, whether for the right reasons, for justice, or for the wrong reasons. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been the champion of state police. So he has done well by advocating for allocation of funds to go directly to the local government. But if he is truly a Democrat, the test is for him to implement policies at the federal level that will also whittle down his own powers. That's where we will see the sincerity that, does he have misgivings against the governors? Does he want to put them in a weak position? Does he want to have alternative to his 2027 presidential bid in case the governors oppose him? Will he, just try to coerce the local government chairman? Tomorrow is very pregnant in the political structure of Nigeria. But like I said, if the president truly means well as a Democrat that want to entrench the principle of federalism in Nigeria, the first test is there's too much power at the central, at the federal government. He too should take actions that will reduce his own powers. And one of such strategic one is giving the states the opportunity to control their resources. And not only that, creating state police. But you want to hear the truth? Do you really want to hear the truth? Are you sure you want to hear that truth? Even if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu spent 8 years in office, that issue of state police will not see the light of the day. You know why? I can tell you as a political scientist, if you trace the political trajectory, the political antecedent of the president, he is a power-oriented politician. He's not the kind of president that jokes with power. He wants it in full. He wants it absolutely. So if you are now telling a power-oriented politician to now devolve power to the state by creating state police or by allowing the state to control their resources, you can safely say you are daydreaming. That's just the truth. That is just the truth. Because you know why? He will not unilaterally, when he has power to not do it, he will not do something that will whittle down his own powers. I can take that safe bet on the president as a political scientist. But if the president means well, truly, his action has shown that he means well, that he's a Democrat, he's a true federalist. But if he truly means well, I want to see him take action that will also affect his own powers. Just as he has taken action that will affect the powers of the governors. It's as straightforward as that. So that will answer whether Bola Ahmed Tinubu is now politically matured, whether he's a true Democrat, whether he's a true federalist, or he just wants to whittle down the powers of the governors for reason best known to him. Now, let me dive straight to the Supreme Court. The actions of the Supreme Court, sincerely, I can tell you in confidence that it is commendable. I applaud the Supreme Court. This is a landmark judgment. My Lord Justices has shown great wisdom. in this judgment that was handed down today. It is a commendable one. Today, July 11th, 2024. And I hope the Bola Ahmed Tinubu government will go ahead to implement it. I'm still coming to the implication of state government collecting funds of the local government and the politics behind it. That's why I've said, and I would repeat, that if you are watching this video right now, this is the right place to be. Stay tuned. If you have not learned anything from what I'm saying, feel free to, go away or stop watching this video. But if you've learned anything, then that means it's worth staying tuned. It's worth staying tuned. Now, my Lord Justices at the Supreme Court have given a landmark judgment. But there are also other cases that are important that I expect my Lord Justices to have fast-track action on. And one of those cases that comes to mind is the issue of task. The core north, the core Muslim states in the north, they don't want alcohol. They destroy it. But they are collecting, sharing part of the value-added tax that consumers of alcohol are paying to the federal government. That's operating from both sides of, speaking from both sides of the mouth. You ate something, to you it's haram to consume alcohol, and you destroy it in your state. But in other states that alcohol consumption is allowed, the tax that Nigerian government is raking from those states, you want to keep sharing it. And they've said, no, you can't share out of this. You say, no, you must share it. So that means you want to be profiting from a money that you are not contributing to the making. And there is a case at the Supreme Court now for the Supreme Court to take a decision on it. But that case has dragged on and keep dragging. So if political cases are speedily being treated, the cases of governors, the cases of, presidents, if they have that speedy hearing, if this case of local government fund can get speedy hearing, because it wasn't quite too long that Lateef Fagbemi, senior advocate of Nigeria, filed that case in the Supreme Court. Judgment is out. My Lord Justices of the Supreme Court, with profound respect, why is the case of task, why is it dragging like forever? I want the judiciary to come out bold. And take decisions that will show that justice has been served. That's my comment on the part of the judiciary. I don't want a situation whereby some cases will receive speedy trial, some other cases that are of national importance as well will be slow. No. And I also want my Lord Justices to please be fair to all Nigerians. What do I mean by that? Why is it that most times it is political cases that get accelerated hearing? In the Supreme Court, there are land matters. There are business matters. Some cases will drag on for as long as 10 years. Justice delayed is justice denied. So if a case drag on for like 10 years, the beneficiaries of that judgment at the end of the day, if you don't pay, if you don't die. So I will just appeal to my Lord Justices that as you are speeding the hearing of political cases, please, Biko, try and speed up cases that are non-political. Individual cases, family cases, business cases. Let them receive that same commitment. Let the judgment be fast too, so that everybody will know their fate and know how to adjust or move on with their life. I think this is very important on the part of the judiciary, in this case the Supreme Court. Now let's now go to the governors themselves. Like I said, that they were holding this fund as a means of, remote controlling the local government chairman. But now that the allocation will be going directly into the account of the local government, what will now be the game plan of the governors? Will it work that this action, will it truly bring local government autonomy and the necessary development that is supposed to accompany such feat? The answer is most likely no. Do you know why? Governors will simply put loyal boys. They will simply sponsor people to be local government chairman, people that they know will be loyal to them. People that they know that once allocation come, they will remit whatever amount they've agreed on back to them. That is the persons that the governors will allow to be local government chairman. And don't forget that it is the State Electoral Commission that conducts election. It's the State Electoral Commission that conducts election. So that means that the power of who wins or not, directly or indirectly, is with the state governor, because he appoints the state electoral commission chairman. So what the governor will do is to play a case to play a game of, in the words of Yeson Wike, agreement is agreement. It will be an agreement is agreement kind of thing. The allocation will come to the local government, but the local government administration will be occupied by a loyal list of the governors, the political hallelujah boys of the governors. And because Nigerian politicians, most of them, because of the premium we pay on politics, are career politicians. If they are local government chairman, they still want to progress. They want to become House of Assembly member in the state. Some of them want to become House of Rep member. Some of them want to become Senate. They have political ambitions. So the local government chairman is just like, one of those foundation stages in their political career. And they know that the governor can be influential to their fast political growth. So they will want to obey the governors. But do you know that obedience will not be absolute? Why would that obedience not be absolute to the governors? Will we have local government chairmen that are naturally greedy? Local government chairmen that once money enter their hand, bam, say Allah don't drop. To collect is what you call olele tó bá ti wọnú ẹ̀kọ́ kò tún jáde mọ́. What that loosely means is there are people that once something enter their hand, people that once you give them money or anything enter their hand, for that thing to come out, you sweat. You need to scream, shout, before they release it. And some people say they're not going to release her. As you are watching me now, there are some people that have owed you money and have refused to pay, and they don't intend to pay tomorrow, just because the money don't enter their hand. So that is some of the things that will happen. When some of these people want to contest as local government chairman, they will be forming loyalty. Governor, I am your political boy. Tell me where to go, I will go. Tell me at the amount that I should remit out of my allocation, and it is done. But when they now get there, just as some of these governors too, used to eventually disobey or go against their own political godfather too, as it is happening between Wike and Fubara in Rivers State. Expect such at the state versus local government level, because you installing your political boy doesn't mean that that boy cannot go against you when he eventually gets that power and when allocations start coming in. And don't forget that the Supreme Court has said that the governor also does not have power to dissolve democratically elected local government chairman's tenure. So in other words, once they enter that office, they go complete their tenure. You cannot dissolve their office or remove them anymore. So we will have local government chairman in the state that will also play a fast one on the governors, that they won't remit what they are supposed to remit back to the governors based on agreement. And the truth is, some of them that will still be forming loyal to the governors, what they will do is they will want to frustrate those governors with demands, with complaints. In other words, before that money come, when the allocation drops, the local government chairman will just be giving the governor different story. Governor, the rain that fell yesterday, all the roof in my community, the thunderstorm has carried the roof away. Now we need to assist the community. Different lyrics, rational and irrational, will just be coming up in such a way that they will be, the governors will be forced to reduce the amount they are collecting. For example, now, if you are a governor, let's make a real life example. If you are a governor, and I agree with you that, governor, let's say I'm receiving 100 naira as monthly allocation as a local government chairman, and I agree with you that, governor, if I become the local government chairman, I will be giving you 60 naira out of my 100 naira. When I now come into office, if I tell you that, governor, yesterday my car got spoiled, my child is sick, my father is in the hospital, my cousin got hit by Okada, it is expected that the governor will have pity on me and say, oh, okay, you have a lot on your hands, go and sort it out. These are important things that has to do with life. So instead of you to remit 60 naira as agreed, okay, remit 30 naira. So the lyrics will go on and on and on and on and on. Why? Because that money don't already enter the local government chairman hand. And money will don't enter person hand. Most times in this Nigeria, they easy to come out. So even if those people are still playing the I'm the loyal boys game, there are occasions whereby they will be coming up with different lyrics just to reduce the money that will eventually go to the governors. And another thing is, during the election of the governor himself, local government chairman at that time can also twist the governor by saying, okay, before we support you, agree with us that you won't tamper with our allocation. We will support you. For example, election is coming up in Edo State and Ondo State. If there is a substantive local government chairman in a very strategic part of Ondo State where the APC candidate, Lucky Ayedatiwa, who also happens to be the incumbent governor, wants to win, and if the local government chairman in that community is very popular, can't that local government chairman also twist Ayedatiwa and begin to negotiate, make a political bargain that, okay, Ayedatiwa, no problem, I will support you, I'm on ground here, this is my territory, but agree with me that if you win, you won't tamper with my federal allocation. Whatever the federal government is giving to me is my own. I will run my affairs independently. That can also happen. And Lucky Aiyedatiwa, because he wants that power, he wants to remain governor, he will just agree and say, yes, okay, if that's the case, no problem. So in other words, the Tinubu government has just increased the political bargaining power of politicians at the local government level. So just the way governors usually twist president too and say we won't support you if you don't do this. Now that the local government chairmen are in control of their fund, one way or the other, they can also be twisting the governor. Like I said, stay tuned to this. This is the page to watch for in-depth analysis of politics and happening in the polity. And I can assure you, if you have listened to me from the beginning of this broadcast and you have not learned anything new, feel free to walk away. But if you are enjoying my analysis and you have learned anything new and you find it interesting, stay tuned to the end. Your data, let it add to your knowledge, not just to be watching comedy and skits. If you stay tuned to this channel, you're going to be learning new things daily, because I will try my best, despite my busy schedules, to be touching on different topics daily as it happens. And this is my comfort zone anyway. I haven't studied politics right from BSc down to PhD level in different continents. So this is the right place to watch. Now let's move on. This action of the president may put him in the bad book of the governors. It may eventually put him on the bad book of the governors. But whether it will work in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a political strategist needs to be seen in the days ahead. But the truth is, we need to commend the president. Because if you know do and somebody go do and if you are just joining this broadcast, a lot has been said. Make sure you watch it from the beginning, because now I'm rounding up. You came late. But the good thing about the social media is you can always go back to the beginning. I've been talking about the Supreme Court judgment on the allocation of funds to the local government, saying joint account is illegal. That the local government should be receiving their funds straight from the federal government. It's been an interesting analysis. I've touched on so many things. So if you are just joining, make sure you rewind this video and watch it from the beginning. It's a must watch. So hope the governors now will still be loyal to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All this Baba Riri Baba Ke, Ranka Dede Baba, Baba we are loyal. I hope that will still continue with this judgment, because now a situation whereby allocation will come from the federal government to the state. The state have received allocation of local government. Some states, you know what some states usually do? They will just call the local government chairman and give him money that is sufficient to pay the staffs. His staffs are the local government, and that is all. There are some states that have even taken over all the functions of the local government. What they are blaming the federal government for, that the federal government has too much powers. There are states that are also doing the same thing. For example, I believe that primary education should be a local government affair. registration of primary school, monitoring of happenings in the primary school should not be a state affair. State intervention in education should start from perhaps the secondary level, not primary school. This local government should be able to handle that. In Nigeria, local government ordinarily supposed to be in charge of maintenance and administration of markets. All this local market that you go to. It is naturally the local government that should be in charge of those markets. But the state, they are the one collecting the levy. They are the one influencing who will be Iyaloja. They are the one managing the market. They are the ones determining solely what will happen in the market. The local government is virtually irrelevant in the affairs of the market administration. That shouldn't be. So the states themselves need to devolve powers as well. They should devolve powers. At the beginning of this video, I promised to make it as short as possible, but you know, it's just a natural thing, and when the lyrics come, you know, keep flowing, I don't have to deny my viewers the opportunity of learning from me. It's been an interesting time with you. I look forward to having another time with you where we're going to discuss another topic. Don't forget that for insights of politics and happenings in the polity, the page to stick with is Polithink with Omoshola Deji, a political scientist. You can call me Omoshola Deji. If you want to add a title, you can, you know, my doctoral title, it's fine. And if you like, if you call me Omoshola Deji, it's okay by me. You can call me Mosh. And you can also call me Ordinary Deji. Ordinary Deji. It also works for me. It's been a wonderful time with you. I look forward to seeing you again. Let's continue this discourse in the comment section. Like I said, if you have gained anything from my analysis, please let others too benefit. Share, like, comment. I look forward to seeing you again. It's been a great time with you today, 11 July 2024. Let's keep it a date. Most likely tomorrow we'll make it happen again. Till then, stay safe, stay blessed. God bless you.